Welcome to JWL Sports, where we review all the best sports clips from around the world. If this is your first time checking out a video, please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. Without further ado, let's get into it. We're watching a clip of First Things First, talking about Kevin Durant. Charles Barkley, I guess, he loves calling out Kevin Durant. He loves reaming on him for whatever reason. Honestly, I don't really even know why at this point and why he keeps doing it. I think maybe when he first did it, it was a little bit more shocking, so to speak, or just more, like, wow, I can't believe he's saying this. But now it's like, what is Kevin Durant doing right now, right? Like, it's just like a bizarre thing to me. So I'm curious to see what they have to say with regards to it. Not to mention, I think some of the criticism about KD is actually not bad at all, and actually a compliment, or should be seen as a compliment, and we should actually respect and commend KD in that regard. So I want to see what they have to say, and then we can break it down from there.
I have a prediction of what your take's going to be.
I'm sick of banging on Durant for this.
Thank you.
Like, he is who he is. He's never wavered.
Yes.
His belief is the coach is the leader. I'm the bucket getter.
Hello?
Leave me alone.
It works.
Now we can say that does not follow in the footsteps of the greatest of the greats, and it's a hindrance to him. That's almost a separate discussion, but it's not like Durant is out here being like, I'm the best leader in basketball. Right. He has been who he is. But here's my other take. Who are leaders in the NBA? Who do we know? So I made a list, guys. LeBron,
right?
Giannis, Jimmy, unequivocally, leaders. So now I'm just going to go. That doesn't mean that's the whole list, but quick. Does Boston have a leader? Do the Cavs have a guy that we know is a better leader than Kevin Durant?
Donovan's.
He is? Based on what?
I think you do.
Based on what?
And I would, but here's what I think Jason Tatum, look.
Is a better leader than Durant?
Yeah.
Okay, well then you're not going to, because I was going to say.
And Steph, definitely.
So I thought Draymond was the leader.
I think Draymond is in one sense, but Steph sets the culture like Tim Duncan did in San Antonio.
I like that.
He's definitely the leader.
So Steph was a question. Is Jokic a leader? Is Luka a leader? My point is this.
Jalen Brunson.
Jalen Brunson's a leader.
Jalen Brunson's
He's
top
definitely
tier.
a leader.
So
Dame is a leader.
Dame is a leader.
Yeah.
What evidence do we have that Dame is a better leader than Kevin Durant?
What are we talking about?
Exactly. Exactly. There is a few guys who it's like what they really mean is able to be the best player on a champion and have everyone follow them. LeBron, Jimmy hasn't been the best player on a champion. He's been banging on the door. Yeah.
Damian Lillard absolutely was with the Portland Trail Blazers. He might not be right now with the Milwaukee Bucks, which is understandable because Giannis is there. But I wouldn't even say that Giannis is a leader, because Giannis is a leader in the way that maybe like a Luka is, or a Joker is, because it's like, it's just a different vibe. When I think of a leader, it's you're the best player, and you don't even have to necessarily be the best player because then you have the Draymond, but it's like I unconditionally follow whatever you say, right? So you don't actually even have to be the best player. It's just that, like, I will do whatever you tell me to do. You're the leader, right? Like, I will just bow my head. It's like, what you say, I will do. And the one guy from Portland Trail Blazers who was traded to, oh, God, he changed his name. Enes Kanter, but it's like Enes Freedom, whatever. I forget what it is. Or Freedom Kanter, I forget. But when he got traded to the Trailblazers and started to play with them, I don't know if he signed with them, but for the playoffs, and he would always chirp and always yell at everyone and always trash talk. And Damian Lillard didn't like that. And so he was like, no, we're not doing that. And so that whole playoff series, he just had his mouth shut the whole time, right? That's a leader. And that's following his lead. That is literally, by definition, leader. And people feel that way with LeBron. The one example that I always think of is J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith was like being interviewed, or he was doing some like, I don't know what it was, some little mini docu, like some like social media type docu series type thing. And he was getting a call, and it was like LeBron James, and he goes, I gotta take this call. He's like, when Bron calls you, you answer, right? Like you could even see the fear in him. It was like whatever Bron says, you do, And right, that's leadership. Giannis doesn't have that. There's lots of players that don't have that. Jaylen Brown doesn't have that. Jason Tatum doesn't have that. KD, I don't know. I really don't. Because again, it's both like commanding a level of respect, but then also having the skill to back it up. Draymond Green has that. And that's why they even let go of Jordan Poole, because Jordan Poole didn't follow that lead. And they were like, well, goodbye. This is the leader. When he wants to talk to you, you freaking talk to him. Right? He's an extension of the coach in that regard. If the coach says, hey, I want to talk to you, and you keep walking, the coach is like, are you kidding me? Right? So that's where, a leader is. It's really like an extension of, to some degree, the coach, ownership, the GM, right? It's kind of this combination of things. It's not always just being the best player. Obviously it's helpful, but you also just need to have this requisite ability to not only have won in the past or proven that you are that dude, and it's just this like level of respect that you carry. It's just that type of energy that I think if Kevin Durant doesn't have, I think that's also okay, because it's not something that he necessarily wants. And that's okay. He just wants to ball, man. That's really all he wants. And on one side, we talk about, we want these players to either shut up and dribble. Or on one side, we say we want them to be able to speak up and be honest and this and that. It's like, and then we have someone like a Kevin Durant who just does want to play basketball. He just loves the game of basketball. He just wants to play. He just wants to win. He does everything he can to win. He cares so much. He stays out of politics. He stays out of trouble, drama. He's not a big baby on the court. He's not, causing issues off the court. I mean, he just wants to put his head down and ball. And yet you still have people like Charles Barkley like harassing him at this point, which is just like, doesn't even make sense at this point. Because Kevin is also older now. He's not the type of player that he once was. So like banging on him at this point is just stupid, honestly. Like it's a bad look for Barkley.
Honest, I think the Steph thing's weird because he's been with Draymond, but that's fine. My point is, like, we're banging on Durant for something. Do the Clippers have a leader? I don't think so. I do not think so. Russ from the sixth man role?
Ty
He's
Lue.
exactly. So I just think it's unfair to KD.
All right, look. It's interesting because, and I know he and Draymond and KD have had their issues recently, but Draymond sitting there looking at Barkley and doesn't say, oh, I played with him for 3 years, all right, and you're wrong about that. He just sits there and lets it go. Now, I don't know if he said something earlier in the broadcast or whatever, but at that moment, he didn't say anything. And secondly, KD's own words. Kind of to your point, Nick, KD says, I don't want to have to be the leader. No. I'm not a leader.
Well, there you go.
I'm bad at saying stand behind me and follow me. No, I'm one of those guys that's just like, let's do this blank
that
together.
Also was
that
7
was from
years
27.
ago.
But that's who he is. That's when he was actually at the height of his career. Was going to Golden State, obviously, that year. And so, look, it's interesting what you brought up because I think there's leadership and there's strength of personality. And KD is strong, obviously, in his own way. But you look at his teams, Russell Westbrook's stronger personality. So he was like the strongest personality on that team in OKC. In Golden State, obviously, you have Draymond, and then it was just Steph's team. In Brooklyn, Kyrie was the strongest personality. I mean, he really was. And that has been a hindrance to KD.
But he's the strongest personality in Phoenix.
I'm not sure. The question is Devin Booker a leader?
Devin Booker.
And I'm not saying
but
he's
not a leader.
I don't know. But I don't think I think clearly, by KD's own mouth, he's not a leader, and it does hinder that team. And so
Devin Booker is technically the leader, but he's a bad leader, right? There's a difference. Kobe Bryant was a leader. Shaquille O'Neal wasn't a leader. Michael Jordan, leader. Like it's this balance. It's such a unique thing because I've been on teams, and I've said this to you guys before, where I've been the best player and I've been the worst player on a team. When I was the worst player on a team, it wasn't just because I was so bad. It was just because, the more and more competitive I got, the higher and higher up I got. I was just playing with such elite talent and then I reached the limits of my own capabilities. And so I was just not, the best player on the team anymore. Right. And so for some of the other teams that I played on, I was definitely the best. And I always took pride in how I led. honestly, and I really enjoyed being a leader, and it was something that I really connected with. And it was always so frustrating when I would be on another team and I could see that the leaders were just not good leaders. They were not good people. They didn't take care of everyone start to finish from top to bottom. Like it was just they reminded me of like the Devin Bookers of the world, quite honestly. And it was just like not something that I identified with at all. And so I think this idea of being a follower versus a leader, again, not everyone's meant to lead. Kevin Durant has said, like, I don't want to be a leader. He just wants to say, he wants to say, like, let's just do this together. You know, he's in a lot of ways, he's a foxhole guy. Honestly, and you know what? A lot of leaders aren't foxhole guys, actually. They're like, follow me. And then when things are real bad, they'll just be like, oh, hey, man, I just didn't have the support to do it at. Right? They throw those people under the bus. And that's not the type of that Kevin Durant is. You know, he's a foxhole guy. Where if things go bad, he actually will suffer the consequences with them. The public, you know, ruthlessness of him. You know, I think Kevin Durant has got so misaligned, so unnecessary. He was in OKC trying his best to win with them. He was with Russell Westbrook, who has proven to be a brutally difficult player to play with. He couldn't even play with LeBron James. LeBron James makes everyone better around him, and yet he couldn't even play with LeBron James. That's an indictment against him, okay? That's number one. He then went to Golden State, absolutely balled out, and won the MVPs, okay? He was literally the MVPs and was amazing and brilliant and was a huge reason why they won. And they would have three-peated if he did not get injured, okay? No ifs, ands, or buts. It's like not even a question in my mind, okay? And then he wanted to get traded. Either just because he just wanted something new or he let the media get to him or Draymond, whatever it is, and he went to Brooklyn, okay? They absolutely could have won. It's not his fault that Kyrie's a weird freaking human being and James Harden just quit on the team. That's not his fault. And then they're just expecting Kevin Durant to just like magically win. He did everything he possibly could, give out his heart and soul. And then they were upset that he then wanted to leave that organization after Harden was gone and Kyrie was gone or refusing to play whatever he was doing at the time. I forget. Like, and they don't even have a head coach. And so it's like, he doesn't want to waste his career there. So he was like, get me out of here. And now he went to Phoenix, which, you know, again, that situation is its own unique situation. And now he's there to do what he can. And also at this point, it's not really that fair because he's no longer in like his true prime. You know, he's older and he's kind of injury prone. So it's just a different situation for him. So I just don't understand why people think it's cool to like bag on KD, who's like seemingly an incredibly nice person, the exact type of person you want to see succeed in the NBA, and the exact type of person that he's the opposite of what a lot of people don't like about people. He's the opposite of the things that people take issue with, like a LeBron James or a Draymond Green or, you know, I can't think of any other players right now. Like, he's the opposite of those types of characters in that regard. You know, it is all about the game. He isn't just all about building his brand. You know, he doesn't do all the showmanship of, you know, putting on a crown on his head and throwing powder in the air. He's not screaming at refs or screaming at other players, starting fights. Like, he's just a good person. And yet we still find reasons why to, like, rag on him or make fun of him. I think it's absurd, quite honestly. But those are just my thoughts on it. What are yours? I would absolutely love to hear what you have to say. If you think what I'm saying is the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard, let me know in the comments below. If you think what I'm saying is the most amazing thing, then definitely please let me know. Either way, let's get into some discussions. Let's get into some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. Thank you so much, and see you next time.